If you have recently purchased Anna Griffin's Impression Dies and are getting frustrated because you're not getting a clean impressed image, watch this video because I'm going to share with you step by step how you can get beautiful impression dies like this using embossing glaze. Hey guys, it's Marie Antoinette with Poshpaperperfection and welcome to my channel. So for 2 hours I was playing with my impression dies and using the Braille stamp ink technique, and I was just not getting a clean image and getting so frustrated. So I tried embossing powder and even got more frustrated at that process. I almost gave up when then I thought, you know what, I'm just going to try embossing glaze on white piece of paper and see what happens. And the results were even more beautiful than I could ever imagine. So I'm going to share with you step by step. This is not going to be a fast version of this technique. You're actually going to be able to go through and doing your impression dies and follow along. Make sure to watch all the way to the end of the video because I'm going to share with you also how you can do this technique with Moxie's embossing powder glitter. Everything that you will need for this project is shown here. You can also look in the description for the detailed list of products that I used and the links of where you can get them. So the very first thing that you want to do, and I'm just using white cardstock by Stampin' Up, and you're going to, you can also use an off-white as well if you wanted to. I'm going to take my embossing buddy, because I always forget this part, and I'm going to clean the area of static. This helps get a cleaner image with your embossing glaze. Then I'm going to take my Versamark and I will roll that on my impression die and make sure I get the corners this time, because I sometimes forget that. And then once I do that, I'll go ahead and die cut the impression face down on the paper. Let's do it right there. I think this is enough for 2. So now I'm going to run it through my Empress using my magnetic plate system. And I have my glass plate, my metal shim, my magnetic mat, the paper, and then the die and the glass on top. Run that through my Empress. Remove this. And now it looks like there's nothing on there except for that it was embossed by the machine, but actually it has the embossing ink on it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to remove our magnetic mat because we don't want to get any of that embossing powder on there. That will affect future projects. Okay, we'll take broken china and we are going to just liberally put that on top. Tap off the excess very carefully. Okay. The nice thing about doing the embossing glaze is that you get a clean stamped image. So, when you stamp it with ink, often you will get color on the edges of this, as you can see with my other inked projects. it gets kind of messy. This was stamped and then embossed, clear embossing over it on the whole entire surface. And you can see that it has, it's pretty messy. But if you are really, really wanting that clean stamped image, the embossing glaze may be the way to go. And what we're going to do here is we're just taking a very, very fine paintbrush, and we're running it along the edges, and anywhere there might be some embossing glaze stuck to it. Okay. Oh, now you see how I did that and I accidentally touched that? All I have to do is go in here and do this again. Okay, and it's back there again, but I gotta clean it again. Because apparently I have embossing powder right here on the edges. Which, if you don't clean your impression die and you keep on getting on the edges, it's because the Versamark ink is on these edges, so you may want to just clean it, or just do what I'm doing. It takes a little bit of patience, but the end results are worth it. And hopefully I'm in the camera frame. And you don't have to get so close, but just enough of your brush to kind of lift it up and off of the paper, and then just tap it. So that's all I'm doing, is gently, without touching the other part. And I know if you have any kind of dexterity issues with shaking and stuff, you may have to just put it down and do it. Now, if you are going to, I don't know if you can see here. You see, that is some of the embossing glaze right there. Okay. If you do have dexterity issues with shaking and stuff like that, what I suggest for you to do, if you choose to do this, is to use a tweezer and do it that way. So what I would recommend you doing is on like a sheet of paper that you don't really care about, just like this, take a tweezer like this and pinch it down, and then start carefully taking off of these the embossing powder, or glaze, I should say, embossing glaze. Okay, and then if any time when you pick it up, see, now I have used these tweezers for other things, so I will always have a hard time. I need to get a new pair of tweezers, honestly. Okay, so now we'll go down here. Try it again. I did it again. It's, at least you know that it's not ruined, You just need to put it in your embossing powder, embossing glaze again. Okay, so we have that there. It looks absolutely beautiful, right? Let's take this, dump it in there. All right, now the trick here is, how do you emboss this without burning your fingers? Trick is, use coffee filters. So in here, I'll move this along. You're going to take your embossing gun, which mine looks like this and is very messy because I use it for also resin. And warm it up. Make sure you let it cool. And there is my blue teacup. And the light is pretty bright here. So let's do this so you can see up close what it looks like. Absolutely beautiful. And it's perfect. It is absolutely perfect. Okay, so let's do this again. First step, embossing buddy. Wipe your embossing buddy on your white piece of paper. Then you're going to take your impression die and you will take a brayer. You're going to ink up your brayer. Ink your impression. Make sure you get all areas. And then you're going to put it face down on your white piece of paper and feed it through your impress. You're going to remove the die. Remove your paper. Carefully lift up your die from the underside. Okay. And then you're going to put it in a coffee filter. You're going to take some of the Distress Embossing Glaze. Put that on top. This is cracked pistachio. Tap it gently. Carefully take a paintbrush and clean off the sides. And that is just taking your brush, just grazing along the edges. Like that. And tapping. Now there's a lot of embossing ink pads out there, but I prefer Versamark because it stays wettest the longest. I don't even know if wettest is a word, but the duration of time it needs to dry is a lot longer. And what that means is once the watermark embossing ink dries on that paper, nothing will stick to it. Embossing powder won't stick to it. Embossing glaze won't stick to it. So by using the Versamark watermark stamp pad, you have enough time to get your stamped impression right. Now, if you want to find out where you can get this Versamark, please make sure you check out the description in this video. There you go. Cup number 2 done. All right, let's do one more. I'm thinking let's do fire brick red. Perfect for Christmas time, okay? And so let's do this one more time, guys. What's the first step? Put down your magnetic mat, and then you're going to put down the piece of paper that you're going to cut your die with. You're going to take your embossing buddy and clean it from static cling, okay? This helps you get a clear embossed image using the glaze. Then you're going to take your impression die and put it on a piece of paper you really don't care about, and you're going to use your brayer, and you're going to use the Versamark. Roll your brayer on the Versamark, and then roll it on your impression die. Okay? Just like that. Now, you'll lift it up by using the paper to lift it up, because if you lift it up this way, it's going to be really, really hard. You will put that face down, remove that scrap piece of paper, and replace just like that. And put the teacup in there. Then we're going to take some fire brick, okay, which is a red, and apply that on there just like this. Okay. Red is a perfect example of how you have embossing glaze on areas you don't want. So what will we do? We will take our paintbrush that's very, very tiny. All right, I think it looks good. Now we'll put this over to the side. Drop this in here, like so. And there you go. Wait for it to dry. And take that out. And I absolutely love this. This is like so great. I know somebody had asked, well, what do you do? What happens if you do it with regular embossing powder? Okay. I will show you the difference between that. That's the embossing glaze. Okay. This looks absolutely perfect. Okay, for this last one, I'm going to use black cardstock. I have some scrap pieces of black cardstock that I need to use, and that's one of the reasons why I love this so much. And we're going to do the same thing, except this time we're going to use Silver Moxie embossing glitter. Okay, and we'll do the same thing that we did before. Take your embossing buddy, and I need two hands here, and just clean that off really good. Okay, now we're going to take the impression die, and we still have some left over. I always feel like I'm afraid I don't have enough, so I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing. Distrust. Okay, here we go. And then I'm going to go put it on my black piece of cardstock. And I'm going to feed this through my Empress. And remove that. Okay, there you go. Put that over to the side, throw that away. Okay, now I'm going to take this and put it in here. Remove my magnetic plates system. And then I will take the Moxie embossing powder glitter and whoop, hello. Getting glitter everywhere. Put that on there. Oh, this is glitter. So I'm going to pick it up with this. If I can. Alright, and tap, 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 tap. We're going to get glitter everywhere. Anyone that knows anything about glitter, it gets everywhere. Just the most important thing to remember about using this is that cleaning your image is so important, because I find that the embossing powder is thicker than the glaze, and therefore it gets looking all muddied or muddled. Is that the word for it? Okay. I'm cleaning up the edges. Even if it doesn't look like it needs to be clean, go ahead and take your paintbrush and tap. Make sure you're tapping. Glitter likes to attach itself to everything. Alright. So now we are going to take a clean coffee filter, put that in there, and put it in there like that. Put this one over to the side. And get ready to emboss. glittery. Isn't that so cute? And I love the way that it complements Anna Griffin cardstock. And that's it. What do you guys think? Do you think it's too hard? Is it too much work? Or do you love it? Tell me in the comments below. And please make sure if you did subscribe to my channel, you let me know in the comments so I can thank you. Please consider subscribing to my channel and liking my videos. And don't forget, if you want to be notified of the latest videos, please click on the bell.